The greatest warriors of the ancient era are ready to fight and die to protect Greece. Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Jackie Fish and welcome back to another glorious online battle, Total War Rome 2. Today we have a very interesting engagement as the Spartans and the King of Epirus come out to play, as the Odyssean Kingdom have summoned a mighty war host ready to cross the river and into Greece. However, the Spartans will not let them go down quietly and allow them into Greek territory, so we'll have to see who will come out on top. As well as that, we also have a force of Numidian mercenaries supporting the Odyssean Kingdom, looking to weaken Greek influence in the area, maybe launching an African assault themselves. And it's always great seeing the desert cohorts come out to play because they really are such an amazing unit. They kind of bring the strength of the Roman legionaries to a faction that does rely heavily on cavalry, so it makes for one insanely strong faction, especially when you couple that with the power and the shock hitting of these awesome Frisian nobles who can just devastate heavily armored hoplites and the other spear walls from the Greeks. It's just, yeah, a very deadly combination to stick them together. We even have a unit of elephants as well, which are going to be, I imagine, useful in this battle to break through the enemy formations. So if we take a look at the battle, we can see that the King of Epirus has set up a nice defense across the river, and the Spartans have set up their defense over on this side, using these mercenary Cretan archers to hammer away at the oncoming attackers. And I imagine the Epirus forces will be doing exactly that. First off, though, they have their royal peltists moving up to engage the oncoming Numidian noble infantry. A pretty heavy spear infantry that can weather the storm of javelins. However, there's going to be a lot of them, and that's definitely going to leave them in a weakened state as they cross this river. If you guys want to see more Rome 2 battles, make sure to drop a like and a comment down below. If you like the cool scenarios that are happening as well, do be sure to let me know. It does seem like even though these royal Numidians have formed up a nice little testudo, they're immediately going to get dived upon from the royal peltists, who are, you know, the name can be quite deceiving on the royal peltists. Instead of, you know, being a peltist unit, they actually kind of double up as a very deadly infantry unit, which is why sometimes you can get a little bit overconfident on that unit. Over on the other side of the battle, you can see that some of the Numidians have now advanced forward as well. So the Frisians are using their mercenaries very effectively, engaging some of the desert cohorts who are going to have a tough time breaking the heroes of Sparta. And look at that, they also have 3 chevrons of golden experience. So this is going to be a brutal battle in the rivers, and it's definitely going to turn this river red with the blood of both sides. You see some royal Spartans back here as well, waiting for their time to come forward. And then obviously we also have the Cretan archers over on this side. I think they're holding fire right now. Even if that commander did just give the order to start firing, I think they're holding back now, just saving their ammunition, because obviously the Frisian pelters are going to come in and do a lot of damage. You also have some more heavy Numidian skirmishers getting a little bit too close to this, and a few cavalry charges coming in as well, just trying to break up any loosely formed Spartan forces, which is never a bad idea. There you go, the Rhodian slingers hitting the Numidians from the side. That is going to be brutal. As we go back to the other side, you can see that the Frisians have advanced forward, and this is definitely the better place to attack for the Frisians and the Odyssean Kingdom, because there doesn't seem to be any long-range missile capabilities for Epirus. So these javelins can come in very much untouched and just throw weapon, projectile after projectile, and just really start to take down these Epirus hoplite walls. Because Epirus themselves seem like they are bringing a lot of javelins themselves, which is obviously going to provide, you know, very good armor piercing against the Roman legionaries, against the desert legionaries, which very much remind me of like the silver legionaries. Is that what they were called for in Rome Total War 1? They really remind me of a unit like that you used to be able to recruit for the Seleucids, and I believe in Sparta and Epirus as well. The Egyptians have a variant of legionaries. Obviously, you know, a lot of factions who survive long enough can, you know, adopt the Roman fighting style, as they obviously have proved to be so effective. And that's where you kind of see a lot of the Hellenic nations go from that spear and shield to more of the mobile, flexible sword and shield. unit. But boom, oh my god, the Odyssean Kingdom is not messing around one bit. They are already committing some of their noble Frisians into the battle. These awesome looking Falk swords, just going to rip through the heavily armored units. That's exactly what they're there for. Obviously, dipping over the shields or ripping away that shield. Obviously, very, very effective weapons, especially when you couple it with the heavier infantry of the Numidians as well. Very, very deadly indeed. You can already see them getting stuck in and making some pretty good progress up this hill and through the river. Because I imagine, obviously, it's going to be very important to try and break this. I hope the players do have a fallback position, but there might just literally be these two deadly choke points for the next 27 minutes. I hope there is like a position and like a fallback. They don't just commit everything to these choke points. It'd be a lot more interesting, but we'll have to see. That's kind of the roll of the dice sometimes. The last guy sent in the previous replay, so I'm hoping for something a little bit more than just 2 choke points, but we'll have to see. And it's always interesting to see, in these scenario battles, who does come out on top and who will have the spoils of war afterwards. I imagine, if this was a real-life historical battle, the Spartans would push into the Frisians and make them pay for coming into the Greek territories. And if the Frisians do come out on top, obviously, they would plunder the Greek city-states, the rich Greek city-states, for a long time to come. So we have another unit of Spartans reinforcing this position. They have a pretty nice fallback position. Obviously, 2 units of just, I think these are the Royal Spartans, so 2 very nice units there. And we have even more Royal Spartans if we go further and further back. We do have a nice little fallback position up here, though, with the General and another unit of Royal Spartans. So a very elite force being brought out. And these guys just currently hiding in the woodland area, probably in their camp, just getting a good overview of the battle, seeing what's going on, making sure that the both sides aren't doing anything too silly. And right now, the Greeks are wasting a lot of their missiles on just hammering away. I mean, it's not a waste because they are getting a lot of kills out there. However, they need to be careful because quite quickly, if they run out of ammunition, then elephants come colliding into the battle. And if there's not any javelins or range attacks to bring them down, they're going to rip through the Spartan line and cause a mass rout very, very quickly. I imagine the same can be said over on this side as well. Because the javelins, because both sides are so clumped up right now, you're just seeing a lot of these javelins finding such a very useful mark. And what I kind of think is going to happen in this battle from just looking at this, I think Epirus is going to lose to this massive push from the Frisians and Numidians. And then they're going to come around and the Spartans are going to be pinned in place. So, yeah, I don't think this is going to be an all-out brawl just for these choke points. I think as we're seeing the Numidians and Frisians who have committed what would seem like the stronger part of their force to this right-hand side will break through and end up enveloping the Spartans at that bridge line. But we'll have to see and find out how it does turn out. It's always great as well. You can see the bodies piling up under the water. Brutal stuff. It's just like the 2 towers. Yeah, I believe it's the 2 towers. When they go through the marshland, yeah, it's definitely the 2 towers. Well, we even have some pikemen over here as well, but it seems like they're breaking, or at least falling back, maybe to reform. I mean, either way, they want to get out of there and try their best to survive. Yeah, the pikemen do seem like they're pretty healthy. That was a general unit, the Hellenic Royal Guard, but they're down very, very low. And maybe a javelin throw or 2 could end up finding a lucky kill on the general unit, which again would send shockwaves throughout the enemy morale. But as I was saying, like, it seems like the force from Epirus is being overrun. And again, it seems like these players have a very thought out strategy. The defenders are playing a very defensive style, taking one side, each and holding firm. Whereas it seems like over on this side, the attackers, the Odyssean Kingdom and the Numidians, have kind of committed a weaker portion of their force against the Spartans, realizing that the Spartans will be a harder foe to break. They've kind of just dispatched what they needed to hold the Spartans in place, using some Numidian skirmishers to soften them up and stuff, but committed the majority of their firepower over on this right-hand side just to try and break through, which is kind of very necessary in a river crossing battle like this. It's a real shame that the river crossing battles didn't get any more love, because I think it would have been really awesome if the attackers of a river crossing battle could deploy like fords and bridges, and maybe you have to commit like, some units to build the bridges. I mean, that does sound a little bit weird for Rome too, but it would be really, really cool. Maybe you could just do it with like a garrison, you garrison a bridge, and then if you garrison it for long enough, the bridges built, or just like, you know, more than just 2 choke points. I know a river crossing is supposed to be a hard battle, but it'd be great for more interactive play styles, you know. And maybe you could have a bridge which you had to capture, you know, just a capture point, and when you capture it, the bridge is built or something, you know. Just kind of like, you know, like, or maybe like, I don't know, there's like lots of stuff you could do to make bridge battles and river crossings a lot more interactive, I think, than they currently are in Rome 2. But, you know, that's just, you know, the game, Rome 2 is like 10 years old now, so, you know, it is what it is. It would have been nice, though, but I guess it would have been nice for a lot of things in Rome 2 to be a bit different. But, you know, for the most part, the game is in a great state right now, at least for online battles. Yeah, it's a very, very exciting style of play with lots of interesting units. And oh my god, has the enemy, the Epirus general, gone back in for another blow? No, he's going to be staying really far back, and the Spartans realize that Epirus is in need of support, and they're moving over more and more of their Cretan archers as quickly as they can over to this side, seeing the big push. So a nice little messenger got over there. That's probably because of these elephants who are now just diving into the battle. I think for the most part we are seeing all the royal pelters and hardly any ammunition left, which is going to give the elephants great time, but it's getting the elephants into combat right now. They seem like they're getting super stuck on their opponents. Is that a unit of cavalry? Oh my god, how the hell have the Numidians got a unit of cavalry through? Maybe through like this gap? Oh my god, why are they not turning around and hitting these archers? We're also getting more of the Rhodian slingers coming over here as well now. If I was maybe the attacking players from Numidia, I'd maybe bring my elephants back and try and just hit the Spartans. But I guess, again, this is really where the main push is coming in, with all the elephants just diving through the riverfront. Oh my god, yeah, that is brutal, seeing the elephants just dive inch by inch further and further through the river. And they're going to be very hard. Vanilla elephants can be very deadly if they're not dealt with. Like, they die very quickly to missile fire, but in infantry, they just rip them apart. And they also send shockwaves through the enemy lines. Oh, Epirus are throwing in some of their mercenary war elephants though to counter this, so we're going to get some elephant on elephant action. Unfortunately, I don't think there are any Warhammer style animations, or they also have a nice unit of pelters who have fallen back from this position, able to quickly dive in and take this on. And I think they've also got the Cretan archers now as well, so really it would be amazing if either side could commit just a little bit more cavalry to this mix trying to break through. I think both sides are using all of their javelins just to pick away at these elephants as best as they can, but yeah, right now it's just a javelin galore, and I think both sides are taking a pounding. But I mean, for the most part, this is probably better off for the Numidians, because even though they'll lose their elephants, these Indian war elephants from Epirus are probably going to, you know, cost a lot more. And there you go, they're all going down now. They just melt the missile fire, they really do. But now we have some Rhodian slingers getting a little bit too close to the battle, over-committing to this fight. I don't know if they're on fire at will or they're trying to do something, but right now the elephants are going to rip them apart. And as you can see, it is sending a pretty big shockwave throughout the Epirus line. Many of these units starting to break, and as I said, I think what's going to happen is, especially if this cavalry can get around the back, pull through this kind of open gap and get onto these archers, I think the defenders are going to be hard pressed, because right now, even though the Spartans have thrown themselves forward, they're fighting Frisian nobles who can take away a large chunk of the defenses that the Royal Spartans have to offer. Especially when they get bogged down in the river, it really starts to cause them some issues. It really, really does. Very nice indeed. And yeah, as you can see, the Numidians have gotten 2 units around, immediately going after the enemy general. And as you can see, you know, this charge is amazing, but not only that, it's that the fact that they can also throw javelins. The Numidians are obviously famous for their skirmisher cavalry and just their, you know, horsemanship. I think they were one of the more famous African tribes who don't wear stirrups, and the Romans were like, holy crap, how do you guys not wear stirrups on their horses? And I think you actually see that on the unit if you compare it, you know. Nothing bad. I don't know if we can find any Epirus cavalry. I doubt they have any, or any Frisian cavalry. I think the Numidians are the only ones who have brought horses to this day. Obviously, not necessarily as needed. But yeah, breaking the Epirite General. Epirite, is that the right word? Maybe. And as you can see as well, the Frisians are bringing over their general and the rest of their infantry over to this sector to then obviously make one big push. And I think we're going to see a mass rout from the Epirus army. Especially as this cavalry, like as soon as this cavalry deals with the rest of the missiles, which, let me tell you, is atrocious for the Spartans to lose. Not because they were in a poor position, it was just unfortunate that the Numidian cavalry got through. But yeah, these are just costly, so this is really detrimental to a Spartan victory or a Greek victory this day. It really, really is. You got some more cavalry being pinned down by the Royal Peltists. I mean, realistically, the Numidians want to try and keep their cavalry alive as best as they can. However, it's all about pinning this unit in place so that these cavalrymen can deal with the rest of the Cretan archers. And you're going to see that unit is being broken, but it's also buying the rest of the forces a lot of time to continue to break ground here and take on the rest of the enemy. Another charge there into the Cretan archers. I think the most part, we're probably going to end up trading this horse for these archers. Or maybe not. Maybe we're going to just try and keep them alive. I thought they would leave them in there, but there's obviously not necessarily any reason to do so. So charging them into the rest of these units is always a great idea. You know, using the Numidian strength, and that is the fast-moving horses, to try and pick apart the rest of the mercenary archers, and then obviously coming around because these Royal Peltists just simply won't be able to keep up with them. And right now, yeah, we're seeing the rest of the Epirus army being caved in. They really need to go in for more of a push here. Got some javelins left remaining as well. And if the reinforcements do turn up, oh no, it looks like they're committing more men over to this left-hand side. So yeah, even though I would have liked to have seen more of like a initial defense at the river crossing and then maybe a hill defense, I think that would have been really, really cool. Or maybe like one choke point really well defended, one not really well defended, and then like a really good hill defense. That would have been very, very cool to watch. However, this is still turning into a pretty interesting battle for only having two pretty fought after choke points. I'm definitely still intrigued to see how this battle will happen and play out, especially after I gave my prediction of the right flank breaking and then going from there. And you're really starting to see just the military prowess of the Odyssean Kingdom. Such a strong faction in the late game when you get these, when units end up having such high armor piercing, and then you get access to Frisian nobles with the awesome curved blades. It becomes a real good counter to the heavy legionary spams and, elite hoplites. But it's not going to be as effective as if, say, they managed to get around the flank. If they got around the flank, I think they'd be a lot more effective in the battle. Yeah, look at that. The Epirites are, very, very pushed. But they have managed to form a better battle line. They've managed to reinforce here with some more Royal Peltists, who I said are a very deadly force. And maybe they simply will be able to just repel this force, because yeah, the Frisians and Numidians are running kind of low. They've actually managed to break through pretty nicely over on this side, but their numbers are starting to deplete, and maybe the Frisians are the ones who are going to immediately be turned on their heads. A couple more javelins as well. That's kind of the usefulness of having these Royal Peltists, is they can provide a very nice missile attack once they break the enemy line. They end up really realistically throwing their javelins as the enemy flee. The Numidian rear charges are coming in, and it's so powerful. It's even moving this happy boy right here. What a cute boy. Oh, he's sleeping with the fishes tonight. The cavalry charging in, falling back, and just continuing to rear charge, looking for a big break. And I mean, honestly, this is it. Look at that. Epirus has a lot of their front line almost going down, and I think if they break the Spartans, this cavalry could lead a crucial charge here as they go in once again. That was a pretty faulty charge there, but still pushing up. I mean, this side of the battle is always going to go ill. Trying to break through a Royal Spartan hoplite wall was never ever going to be successful. Unfortunately, the Spartans have plenty of men still left holding this river crossing. And I think there you go, the Spartans are realizing that and actually going to start bringing back men over to this other position, as it does seem like the cavalry is coming in. Charge after charge after charge is finding their mark on the Rhodian slingers, who now start to fall by the wayside. It's just the Royal Peltis are keeping alive. I mean, there can't be that many of them left though. 81 on this unit. And it's so close to breaking, like one devastating rear charge. Maybe this could be it. But the Royal Peltis are kind of holding them back. And there you go, 81 or 78 now. Royal Peltis breaking. That's completely opened up this flank, and they can just charge down what remains of the rest of the Epirus army. Yeah, look at that. Epirus are completely broken besides these handful of units. I mean, I wish we would have saw maybe these other two units committed when they could have been. You know, early we saw them moving over and they just didn't quite throw themselves into this battle. Maybe setting up another line, and oh my god, look at the bodies under the water who have just fallen down. Man, imagine getting injured, like having a leg cut or something, which, you know, made you incapable of moving. You would just be like so brought down. That was an awesome kill animation there. You know, something that, you know, meant that you couldn't move. You just get trampled and drowned. That would be so brutal. Yeah, and the Odyssean Kingdom are trying to get another unit of Frisian nobles over here, but they're already pretty tired. They will arrive here in a swift manner, but probably going to be fighting a little bit less effectively due to that, you know, long march. They've kind of walked over here and then over here, and, you know, they're finally going to arrive on battle, maybe sending a messenger to the commander. As the cavalry charges continue to come in, the Numidians using their horse to their advantage. Another cavalry charge coming in. And as the numbers begin to, you know, whittle down, as these flanks continue to get exposed, we might see a big mass rout. However, Royal Peltis are still holding their own for as long as they need to. They really need the Frisians to come in and fully commit to this battle. I mean, obviously, once these guys turn up, it'll probably be over. And the Spartans are committing more and more men over. And the Spartans are starting to lose some men. The Royal Spartans down to 13, beginning to break. And we are having, you know, a lot of elite units that maybe can just grind their way through. But these Frisian nobles have a lot of men in their units. And they're slowly starting to whittle down these defenses. Obviously, you know, there's still plenty more reinforcements, but bit by bit, they could wear them down. And if these guys can, you know, end up breaking the rest of the Spartans, then that'd be pretty huge. They really need to commit these guys now, though. If they want any hope, they need to commit the rest of these Frisian nobles into this battle. And they also need to select these guys and commit them to this fight. They just need one big break, you know, one big charge from every single side. And I think that would see off what remains of these guys. They're using the whip as well, which the whip does give them a big boost to their melee attack, but it tires them out very quickly. And that's going to lead them to end up routing a lot quicker than maybe expected. Yeah, I think we're biding our time now. One big final charge needs to come in. And I mean, as you can see, the Numidians are breaking a little here as well. So I think these Frisians need to come in and just rally the ship. Like, just literally a select all and charge will be very much needed. But the cavalry is just not supported enough, and the Royal Peltis are still holding. It's amazing. Yeah, now the Frisians are moving in. I think they were just waiting. They were just resting, getting themselves up to fresh, which is obviously a pretty smart move. But it's buying the Spartans enough time to drift over more and more men. Oh my god, it looks so pixelated. Holy crap. It's bringing the Spartans over bit by bit. And there you go. The Frisians do get a good charge off. And they're going to be able to lay some devastating smackdowns on their opponents. I wonder if the cavalry is going to commit to this or go over and start harassing the Spartans, trying to slow them up, because these Frisian nobles should kill everything here. Still seems like these guys haven't been told to attack yet, which is very unfortunate. I can completely understand why that is the case, but yeah, it is very, very unfortunate. Yeah, there you go. The rest of these Spartans are down to well under half strength now. So I think this is going to be a very close battle, even though it says it's very much in favor of the defenders, or yeah, of the Spartans and the Greeks. I think that's the case. I think these nobles could break down this front line. And then obviously there's only like a handful of units still left remaining. We've got more reinforcements, and just like that, boom, we immediately see the Frisian nobles come in and, yeah, turn the tides. Imagine if these guys were here a little bit sooner. If they'd committed these other units over to reinforce this section a long time ago. They also still have plenty of javelins that can help out here. And I mean, if I was the Frisians, I would just completely ignore these hoplites. I'd just go all the way around and continue to make my way in. They've got more reinforcements turning up as well. They've even committed the enemy general now as well. Yeah, I mean, look at that. The Spartans have committed everything they have now to this fight. They're fresh units now because the other guys are dwindling down. I need to be very careful. Do we have any javelins left on these guys? Or are they completely out? I think the Numidian skirmishers are out of ammunition, unfortunately. But I believe these guys have some left. A few peltists have like a few bits of ammo left. So they can obviously try and soften up as best they can the Royal Spartans. And obviously that cavalry unit, wherever it's gone. Where the hell has it gone? It's up here. It's going to be so important. Is there any javelins left? It doesn't seem like it. Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, if you have no missiles, I would just completely abandon this and just continue to try and maybe go for a daring move on these guys. Oh, it seems like that's exactly what's happened over on the Spartan side. This unit of Spartans has been completely enveloped by the remnants of the Odyssean kingdom. If they could cause a big rout, which I don't know, they might be able to, as these Spartans are dropping fast, then that's an entire other unit. Yeah, if I was the Numidians, I would just take this cavalry and come flying over here and just rear charge the ever-living crap as now the Spartan general gets committed into the fight. The Odyssean kingdom has popped their headhunter ability, which gives an insane boost to their melee attack and I think weapon skill, which will allow them just to cut down these heavily armored Spartans. And they're very close to breaking as well. So are the Odyssean kingdom with the hero, the Spartan general flying in. So maybe just proving a little bit too much. And yeah, the Spartans over here are going to get fully committed. So yeah, I think for the most part this has been a very cool battle. But I would have liked to have seen, you know, another stage to this engagement for sure. I would have loved to have seen this hill, because this is a pretty big hill, right? I would have loved to have seen, you know, a hill defense set up in between these trees maybe after the first couple units. Like maybe like one full defense over here, and then over on the other side having it so that, you know, you just kind of defend this clearing with missiles in the ridges. That would have been really, really cool and made it, you know, maybe a little bit more exciting than just 2 choke points. However, this was still a very cool battle, as it seems like these players are, you know, very well, which always leads to an interesting engagement. This brave Numidian actually diving into the enemy phalanx and doing a pretty good job. Also, why are the Spartans so much taller than the Numidians? They look so much bulkier. Maybe it's just their heavier armor. Don't really know, but they do look a lot taller. They look like children for some reason. Don't really know why. Cavalry coming in, but the Spartans simply just do turn their sides, and I think that is going to be the engagement right there, as the rest of the Spartans continue just to surround and kill the Frisian general. The rest of the guys, you know, are going to be no match, mainly just having missiles here. Not going to be a match for the Spartan front line one bit, but, you know, they're just going to continue to commit themselves to the fight and continue to find themselves being outclassed and slowly grinded away. Because, I mean, for the most part, the Frisians did a great job at fighting. It's just they need 1 or 2 units to get into the flanks, and that's when they really do the damage. If they can get a heavy unit into the flanks, then that's when they rack up the kills. But Spartans aren't going to win that. I mean, it's kind of to be expected. The Greeks holding choke points is generally going to play out in their favor. But we did almost get a big mass rout over here that could have turned the table. You know, if they could have broken the Epirus forces a bit earlier and got more of their elephants round, or more of whatever they had around, then I think that battle could have quite quickly gone south for the Spartans. So a big thank you to everyone who did play in this battle, and thank you very much, Highfield, for sending this in, Hi-Fi, for sending this battle in. I really, really appreciate it. Anyone really rack up a stupid amount of kills? Yeah, the elephant's doing a bit unfortunate. The Numidian elephant's doing a bit better. The Desert Cohorts, 160 kills is always great to see. Frisian nobles, yeah, I mean, to be expected. Look at the damage these guys did. Insane. Racking up 2,500 kills, more than both of the Greeks, and actually losing probably the second most as well. Yeah, Epirus lost so many of their units, but they also did bring the most amount of men. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this battle. If you want to see more scenario Rome 2 battles with maybe a little bit more depth to them than this one, which was just kind of like an all-out brawl, then let me know in the comments down below. The guys have sent me a message saying, hey, if you want more scenario Rome 2 battles, we're more than happy to do them. So yeah, maybe we can see more cool scenario battles in the future. Maybe like famous Julius Caesar engagements and stuff like that. Could be very, very exciting. So let me know, guys, in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.